Okay, in this video we're going to be checking out another micro camera here from FXT. This one is called the T82 Venus Pro, and like the Mars, I think the Mars S that I reviewed last week, it's in the same case, just a different color. That one was white, this is orange, but the same 19 by 19 micro-sized form factor, and has the covered back here so the electronics board isn't exposed. Same, I think it's a 5-pin connector that the Mars S has. I think that all their cameras are now on that connector now. M8 lens, 160 degree field of view. It is a 1/3 CMOS sensor, 800 TV lines, PAL NTSC switchable, and 16, 9, and 4/3 switchable as well. This camera is pretty similar in image quality to the predecessor of this camera, the Venus, the T81. And you saw that on my channel a while back. I've had this camera for quite a long time, but this is an unusual form factor. It's a 16 by 16 sized board, so there's not a lot of frames that would fit that unless you use some sort of an adapter, and it's very tiny and kind of light, but the image quality is the same, the features the same. CMOS sensor, 16:9, 4/3 switchable, all that. It's got the same connector and everything, so I think the Venus Pro is going to be, well, my speculation is based off of the original Venus here, so it has all the same features. And as we go through the FPV or the camera menu, you'll see that I think the features and the settings are all the same as well. And just quickly, just to show you what comes in the rest of the box here, obviously you get your camera connector, you're going to get some screws and some washers and stuff for mounting. You get a little metal mount here, and you get the OSD joystick or camera controller joystick, and the connector on here is the same 5-pin connector that all the Foxeer cameras uses, and so I'm going to hook this up to the monitor here, and we'll see that. I'll just use the controller from one of the Foxeer cameras and it'll work on this just fine. Okay, but before I hook it up to the monitor and look at the settings, we'll just get the weight measurement here. It's about 6.4 grams. Okay, I got the camera hooked up here and transmitting to my monitor. And just a quick look at the field of view. Right now it's currently set in 16 by 9 mode. Pretty wide field of view in terms of the width, side to side. And up and down is pretty wide as well. Not quite as wide as the Predator, but it's not bad. And let's go into the settings here using the controller stick here. First off, let me just show you that it does come with an OSD here. It comes with a power on timer and your battery voltage, and there's a battery sensor wire here you can hook up to your PDB for your LiPo voltage. If you don't have that hooked up, then it'll default to the power inline for the voltage reading, and that might vary depending on where you have that hooked up to. In this particular case, I have it hooked up directly to a LiPo, which is actually reading correctly. But if you're going to be hooking up to, say, like a 5-volt regulator, you want to use the voltage sensor line, which is right here. And then if you don't want this OSD, you can actually go in and turn it off. Let's go into the menu. And you can see here under FPV setup, go in there. And we can go ahead and turn off the time and the power. And then if we go and save, say yes. See now that the OSD is now gone. And then let's go through the rest of the settings here. You got exposure. I'm just leaving everything as default values for the flight demo. This is the way the camera comes in color mode. Here under image setup, you can change your color gain or mirror the image. And under function setup here, you can change from TSC to PAL. I'm going to go back to NTSC, and then here we can change the scale. Let me just show you this 16:9 right now, and if I go to 4:3, it looks like it's yeah, it does crop off the sides of the image. So I don't know if you can see that. You can see more stuff on the sides here, and then that gets cut off here, and then the monitor actually just it just expands it out. I could change the monitor to 4:3 mode and you'll see it more, an image that's going to be more to scale, but this is just stretched out because it's taking the 4:3 image and stretching it out to this monitor scale. But I'm going to leave it on the default 16:9. That's the way I flew it and also recorded the demo flight. You can change your language, and then you can return settings to factory if you want. So not a whole lot of things you can change here. Go ahead and exit. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the camera settings and features. I'll go ahead and show you some sample footage here from the same park that I fly at for all my FPV cameras, using the same recorder and usually fly the same flight path. So if you want to compare the image of this camera to previous cameras that I've reviewed, I have a playlist up here to a roundup of previous cameras. You can then do your own side-by-side comparisons if you want to open up this video in one browser and then those other videos in another browser. Then you can look at the same parts of the park that I fly at and compare the video quality of this camera to some other cameras that I've previously done reviews on. I've done reviews on more than a dozen, so obviously doing a side-by-side comparison for every single camera that I've reviewed is not really practical. So that's something that you guys have to do for yourself if you want to do a side-by-side. And you can just go to that card here in the corner to that video that's the first in the playlist of the roundups, and then you can see the demo footage of those other cameras and then compare it to this camera if you'd like.